Good evening. My name is John Staten, and I am the Congregational Chair of Cathedral of Hope, Oklahoma City. It is my very great honor to get to present the Hero of Hope 2014 Award tonight. Tonight's honoree, Scott J. Hamilton, is the Executive Director of Cimarron Alliance and the Cimarron Alliance Equality Center. There's a lot more in his bio that you can read there. I would like to say that the first time I met Scott, I'm sure he doesn't remember it, but I certainly do. And it was at a Broadway Fund for Funds event at Oklahoma City University. And he was there being introduced as one of the organizations that would benefit from the proceeds that night. And he spoke, and I was just terribly impressed, because this man was going to be speaking for us in the community. And I was extremely overjoyed and have never been let down in the meantime by what he says and the way he represents us. I would like to call attention to our past winners before we go any farther. And 2013, some of these people are here. 2013, Mr. Ginger Lamar. 2012, Dr. Ed Shadid. 2011, Bob Lemon. 2009, Kay Holliday. 2007, Jim Roth. And as Pastor Matt mentioned, 2006, Reverend Bruce Lowe was our first honoree. And yes, you are reading that right. He was a retired Southern Baptist minister. And he happened to be a mentor of our then pastor, Reverend Dr. Scott Jones, and was a past mentor of his, and had written, after he retired, a piece called Letter to Louise. And I think that's about all you would have to Google to find that and see it in its entirety. It's on the internet. It's well worth your read, but you might want to print it and read it later, because it is, I think, about 25 printed pages. But he was very much an inspiration to all of us when he was here. I'm sorry to hear tonight his passing. When we met this year and decided who would be our Hero of Hope Award winner, we had a list of things we're to go through. And they are things such as change how the world thinks about LGBTQIA people, check, for Scott. Change how LGBTQI people think about God, check. Reach people, especially teens living in isolation in small towns, check. Redefine Christianity as an including faith rather than an excluding religion, check. We were very fortunate to have someone to consider that met all of our criteria. Occasionally we manage to be slightly ahead here. Sometimes we get ahead of the game, sometimes we're behind the game. But on October the 5th was when we met and decided that Scott would be our honoree for Cathedral of Hope, Hero of Hope 2014. Well, October the 6th, the next day, was the day that so much happened in the state of Oklahoma concerning marriage equality. And you can guess who was right out there in front on all the news interviews representing us so well once again. So it is with great honor that I call Scott Hamilton up here to present him the Hero of Hope 2014 Award.
You all didn't have to do grace tonight. That's what I'm saying. And that got me started. I owe Eric an apology because he called me early on a Monday morning at the office about 8:15 to tell me the Cathedral of Hope had decided that I would be the recipient of the honor this year. And I said, Eric, nothing that could happen this week could make it any better. And 10 minutes later, my week got better. I've been thinking a great deal about the concept of hero. It's an unusual word, one that we either don't use or one that we overuse. But as I began to consider just the word, I thought, I do not deserve to be called a hero. And as I started to think about heroes in my own life, people who have been a part of my life for a very long time. My friend Jamie is here tonight, and we have known each other for more decades than either of us probably wants to admit. My mom and my sister are here tonight. And I have friends that I have met only in the last few months. But something that each of these has in common is that at times in my life, they have been and are my heroes. Which led me to understand that a hero can never define himself as such. It's what other people define one as. And so, to say that I am honored, touched, moved by your generosity is an enormous understatement. I would never call myself a hero, because the work that I do is something that provides for me such incredible hope, such incredible senses of accomplishment and pride. Not in myself, but for all those who stand with me. In this congregation tonight, people that I get to work with every week, like Dennis. People that I get to see often, like Victor. People whose work I admire not only from afar, but have the pure joy of working with regularly, David Mason. Donna K. Holliday, two people who have my undying devotion. And there are others here as well. Diana and Nancy. Ben. You see, I could name everyone here tonight. I'm looking at Amani, 19 years old, and already a fierce advocate for what is true and what is right and what is good. But rather than naming each of you, I will say that I don't think anyone who we collectively consider a hero ever set out to be a hero. I think that Dr. King, a hero to so many, did not set out to be a hero. I think that Mayor Rustin, the man behind the March on Washington, the wind beneath Dr. King's wings, I don't think he ever set out to be a hero. Or Harvey Milk, or so many others. But what happened was that they saw a need, they saw an injustice, and said, we cannot let this stand. In my work every day, I am blessed to be able to correct the injustices that for for so long have plagued Oklahomans. When I was a little boy, I had an affinity, an empathy that I couldn't articulate for people of color. As I would grow older, I would understand what that was about. It's because they were the other. And so was I. At times we all are the other. But working in community, we began to have more of us, meaning a collective us of people moving forward. For those of you who come to this place of worship every week, and you're gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, or someone who loves someone who is, that's a hero. Because you're saying, I won't listen to what others are saying about my God. I experience Christ in my own way, in my own life. And looking at those who have been so honored before me, I recognize in them too a faith. Ed Shadid cannot do what he does were it not for faith. And it's my faith that allows me to go head to head with those who would do us harm, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. But every time I stand before a group, that I speak to a legislator, that I preach to a congregation, or talk into a television microphone, I'm never there by myself. Each of you is standing behind me, beside me, lifting me up, holding me, so that I can do the work that I do. Someone said a hero's sacrifice is a great deal. And I suppose if I stop and think about it, there are sacrifices in my work. Sacrifices of financial security, of leisure time, time with family. When you're doing something that you're passionate about, something that you feel called to do, and something that you feel supported in doing, there is no sacrifice. It is joy. It is joy that I feel tonight, accepting this honor. It is joy that I feel every day in serving my community, not as a leader, but as someone standing with each of you to make life better for people in Oklahoma today, but far more importantly, people a generation from now will marvel how far our society has come. Through hard work, through dedication, but mainly because of love. Paul's writing to the Corinthians. He lists many gifts. It says without love, none of those things is complete. None of those things really matters. In the end, faith, hope, and love remain. We all have faith that things are getting better and will continue to do so. You've shown me hope in this war. The greatest of these three is love. I love you all. And from the depths of my heart, I thank you for the love that you showed me.
Now comes the fun part. This morning up in Drummond, they are recovering from a disaster and sewer backup and flood their entire basement. That gives a whole new definition to holy. tonight, we get to say thanks. I get to say thanks to a brother, which is kind of. Oddly enough, God works in wondrous ways. The passage, Joshua crossing the Jordan. Not Moses, Joshua. The people are scared. The people are about to go into a new land and they get there. It would be nice if the story ended there, but we have what? 4.1 books of the Bible, and it didn't end. Scott and I have talked about this quite a bit this last month, and we've talked with some others too. Here's the thing. Great victory on Monday morning on the 6th, about 8:30 a.m. We all found out about it simultaneously, and we've been celebrating with couples after couples after couples ever since. As I found out, I was reminded tonight, and as you and I have talked, the journey's just beginning and the challenges are still there. Look out and see HB and I see Kate Holiday, and imagine when they got their awards, I'm sure they thought, well, that's it, we're good. We did what you kept going or something, right? Because you had to. All of us had to. There's lots more work. Too many people have to not be too far from where you see that camera in the balcony, and cannot face where Scott and I can face. Because even if these people, it's found out at work they attend this congregation, just attend this congregation, where a third of us now are straight, they can be fired from their job. I wish it were over. Of course it's not. But the message and the charge that I have to you that you've already had, because you're already busy, we are already busy, all of us, is now the journey begins. We're hearing comments. We're getting questions. We're getting harder pushback than ever before, and it's personal. It's parents that won't show up at ceremonies. It's couples that can't find witnesses, and some of you, God bless you all, have shown up at some of the ceremonies that we've officiated. In other words, like, he's had to call, right, and get people to come over and witness. Because these couples can't find witnesses. That needs to tell us a lot. The story in Joshua tells us much more. It says in Joshua, don't worry, I am your God and I go with you. It's a new land the Israelites go to. This is a new land for us. Oklahoma, one of the last frontiers, has become sort of a frontier. All over the country, people are watching us. The state in the deep south, where this is now the law of the land. What will happen? How will things go? The challenges still remain. But we know one thing. Our God, a God of love, goes with us. You're done right, son. You are not alone. None of us are. For God goes with us.